everybody. We want to welcome you back. Over the last few months, really, we've been pulling people in here to do podcasts that are involved in different kinds of ministries. We've talked to people in prison ministry, jail ministry, church ministry, and today we have some special guests with us that are going to talk a little bit about missionary ministry. We got Zach and Stephanie in here with us today, so we're so excited for you guys being here. I've known Zach literally since he was this old. And but I just met Stephanie a few years ago when they met after Zach left our church and went out west to start his mission journey. And so y'all want to just say hey, and then I'll dive into what we're going to talk about. Everything good?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So Zach Smith and my wife Stephanie and 2.5-month-old Adam.
Yeah, we're excited about Adam. We were able to do like an online kind of like baby shower for him because they were out west, and I'll let them tell you where they've been living and what's next for them in a few minutes. But I want to talk just first a little bit about their story. Like I said, I know Zach's pretty well. Don't know Stephanie's as well. Got some secondhand information from Zachary on her, but I've known Zach again since he was a baby, and I've actually been on the mission field with him a few times for mission trips, and we've been to Haiti together a couple of times. And quite honestly, he's a kid young man. I can't call you a kid anymore. You're a grown man now, but you got your own baby. But when he was, I knew when he was 14 or 15 years old that this may be his life. What it ended up being. Obviously, I didn't know how God was going to pull it off, but I knew that Zach was going to end up being on the mission field in some way. Just to watch him in Haiti and other countries where we were there, just how he blossomed and found his place. It was just amazing to watch. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how you came to know Jesus, and then we're going to talk about Stephanie and her upbringing a little bit, and then we'll get back to what you guys are doing now. So
Sure. Yeah. So I grew up in Lincolnton, so I've been here all my life. Went to First Baptist for middle school years, and then after that came out to Covenant, but was saved at a VBS at First Baptist, and then came to youth here and grew up a lot here and did mission trips and stuff with the guys at church here, and then continued on with stuff. Yeah. I got faith became real to me when Dad left, and the guys here at Covenant were huge in my life and made a big difference in the route that I took.
Yeah, I remember those times. I felt like they were like really instrumental years when you were trying to find your way and a lot of hurt was going on in your heart. And I remember guys like John Mervine and Randy Carpenter and swooping in and loving on you and just as a matter of fact, little man over here is named after John Mervine.
Yep.
His middle name is John's middle name. And so those men had a real impact on his life. And I want you to know you had a real impact on their lives and our lives as well. But I just feel like that was just an amazing part of your life in the season. So right when Stephanie's supposed to do her part of the interview, you might have to tell a little bit of her story in a minute. We got to take care of little man. But anyway, so tell us a little bit about her life and how you met.
All right. Sounds good. So she grew up as a missionary kid in Indonesia. Her dad was a pilot mechanic with MAF. And
MAF means what?
Mission Aviation Fellowship. Sorry, everybody.
Y'all got those words we don't understand. So.
Yeah. Mission Aviation Fellowship. He was worked on aircraft and flew them in Indonesia for just all kinds of stuff, from medevacs to Bible translations to just random supplies, whatever. And anyway, so to get to how we met was, her dad is a recruiter for JARS. So he switched organizations. So JARS and Wycliffe are the same thing effectively. And so he was out at Moody for once a year, just for like a week to get to know students and to recruit people. And so he got to know me for 3 or 4 years. And then one summer, he called me and just standard call, like nothing special, and was asking me questions about normal stuff. And then one of them was, are you dating anybody, see anybody? The answer was no. And he said, well, so I have somebody I'd like to introduce to you. I think you'd be a good fit, and told me all about her. And then at the end he said, oh, and it's my daughter.
Add a little pressure to the mix.
Yeah. So he gave me her number, and we texted for a couple of weeks, and we called for a bunch of times, and I met her in September. And then we got together over the next 6 or so months, 4 or 5 times, and then proposed in St. Joseph, Missouri during a bicycle trip.
Yeah. I remember this when this was going on, because we were like in Lincolnton, because Zach was like our whole church's kid, like we all loved him so much and had spent so much time with him with youth group years and missionary stuff and mission trips. And so we were like monitoring. Stephanie's probably really glad that we're really involved in his business so much, but we knew about the texting, and we knew you guys had met. I remember you telling me when you your first trip, when you were going over to actually meet her face to face, and we were all excited here because we're like, this is the one. This is the one. We know God had set him up, and so I know it sounds like some kind of fast paced relationship, but I also, when God sets up something like that and you just know it and you feel it, it's an amazing thing that happens. And poor little guy. But anyway, so undoubtedly that first meeting went really, really well. And how long you guys have been married now?
Yeah, it went really well. We've been married 2 years yesterday.
Yeah. Happy anniversary.
Oh, thanks. And yeah, so we talked a whole lot on the phone about important things, not just shooting the breeze.
Right.
So a lot of good conversations.
Yeah, that's awesome. So why don't you tell them a little bit about, and we'll get back to your story together moving forward. But where did you go? Like I remember very clearly, but I don't want to tell your story. Like right when you got out of high school, it was time to go start taking hold of your purpose and meaning moving forward. So tell them a little bit about what happened when you left Lincolnton.
I hopped in the truck and drove across the country to Spokane, Washington. So that's right on the border of Idaho, and started at a flight school, Moody Aviation. It's part of Moody Bible Institute, and did Bible courses, and then your airframe power plant license, so A&P, and then started with the private pilot license, then commercial, and then instrument. So learning to fly and getting quite good at it. And
so you're really good at flying now?
Not anymore.
Okay.
I'm rusty for sure right now. I'm not current anymore.
Yeah. So what are you currently doing?
I'm doing maintenance at the flight school.
Gotcha.
So maintaining the fleet of 13 or 14 aircraft that the students go fly, so that they use to train.
Yeah.
So I'm indirectly helping to train quite a few people that would likely go overseas for mission aviation.
Right.
And in that process, I'm building up experience and getting a lot better as a mechanic myself. And I've got another rating that takes a certain amount of minimum time to get. So I've got my inspection authorization, and it just allows you to do more inspections, like sign off extra, I guess.
Yeah.
And then staying at Moody has been really great because we stay in the missions world. We didn't get out of missions and buy a house or get something nice and then put roots down. So then we were a little more hesitant to go overseas. So we've always had our goal of going overseas.
Right.
And that was one of the big pulls to get to know Stephanie, because she grew up overseas. She knows what mission aviation is and is wholeheartedly for it.
Right.
And that was a huge part in that relationship and the track of my life.
Right. Yeah, it's a little, not everybody is, and I say this in all seriousness, not everybody's built for, we're not going to sit down roots and buy a house with a white picket fence and raise a family together in a little town, to have that kind of gift in your other half that's willing to go wherever God sends you is quite a gift and amazing to me. In fact, something I really admire in the both of you. I know you were always that guy who was I felt like you were one of those people that said, "Here I am, send me wherever you want me to go, God." You know, I'm not going to put down roots in any specific place, but for you guys to find each other is quite a story to me in and of itself. And so currently, I know we were talking before we went on camera, before we went on air, that you guys are getting ready to be living out of a car for a while with the baby.
Well,
What does that mean
effectively.
exactly?
So my time with Moody ends the middle of January, and hopefully we'll be members of Wycliffe at that point or slightly before. We're on step 8 out of 12 in that process. So we're getting that direction. But we'll be traveling and raising support and staying with family and friends. So we have a base of supporters, potential supporters in Washington and Iowa and Illinois, and then in North Carolina.
Right.
So traveling between all 3 of those and trying to meet as many people as we can, get to know people, because there's a lot of people that I don't know, whether they're Stephanie's friends or have joined Covenant after I left, because that's been 10 years.
Yeah, that's unbelievable to me.
So it'll be a new challenge, new time of life.
You really been gone 10 years?
Uh-huh.
God, it seems like 4.
I left in August of 2011.
How old are you now?
I'm 29.
You don't know how old you are. It's 29. Yeah. Stephanie, how old is he? She's off camera there. Is he 29?
He's 29.
Okay. He's 29. We got that right. So he left here 10 years ago. And we knew he'd probably never live here again unless it was like when he was an old retired guy. But it's exciting to hear what's next. We got to get Stephanie in when the baby's quiet. We got to hear a little bit of your story. Tell us about your parents, your family, your upbringing.
Yeah. I was born and raised on the mission field, like Zach was saying. My parents were missionaries.
Yeah, let him have the baby and he can go walk around for a little while. Hey, this is like live action right here. You get all of it, right? So.
I was born and raised in Indonesia, where my parents were serving, and I was there for 11 years. We moved back to Iowa. When we were still in Indonesia, my mom and I had a lot of conversations about salvation and what it meant to be saved and to have Christ be a part of my life. And I can remember one day specifically, my mom and I were running errands on our mom's little motorcycle, and we were having a conversation about salvation. And specifically, like, my salvation isn't based on my parents. My salvation isn't based on my brothers being Christians. It's my own personal choice.
Right.
And we got done talking, and my mom's like, do you want to make that decision? I was like, no. My 8-year-old mind had other things to go do. And so that evening, my parents were about a block away at a Bible study. I'm home alone in our brick and mortar home with very little wood in the house. And I remember vividly laying in my waterbed thinking, the house is going to catch on fire and I'm going to burn to death in my brick house.
Yeah.
And as I thought about that, I was like, okay, so if I burn to death here, I'm spending eternity in hell burning.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to do that. Yeah. So at that point,
it's a good day to decide this, right?
And at that point, I realized my need for salvation and Christ to be a part of my life.
Right.
And I accepted that free gift of salvation that night. And I told my mom the next day, and we talked through it to make sure I understood truly what salvation was.
Yeah.
And like Zach, I was much older when my faith truly became my own. I was in college, and I just had to sort through a lot of theology and, okay, what does scripture say? What are my professors saying? What does my pastor say? Mm-hmm. Does it all line up with scripture? And at that point I was like, okay, yes, we can do this. Yeah. But I've always had a desire to be in missions, specifically in aviation, because I've seen the need in so many different capacities, whether it's getting people in and out for emergency situations or getting the scriptures into a village, into their own language.
Well, Wycliffe really is good at that part, with all the Bible translation stuff. And we have a JARS location that Zach probably visited when he was a little kid, not too far from here, so we had a lot of people educating us on, the value of all that and what they were really doing. Sometimes sometimes they need you to bring them a bottle of water, in the middle of those third world countries. And so that's awesome. It's amazing that some people, if they grew up on the mission field, their first opportunity to split from that would like, I'm out of here. You know, my parents made me
Yeah.
do that, but I don't have to do it when I'm an adult. But the fact that you have that heart speaks to something really personal in you.
Yeah.
Because a faith that just tags along to your parents' faith doesn't choose third world life, but a faith that is your own. God can definitely do that in you. So, what did you think? Skipping ahead in your story, what did you think when Dad came home and announced that he'd found this guy that he wanted you to meet?
Well, I was ready to tell my dad no. I was like, I'm happy. I'm single. God's using me where I'm at. I'm plugged in at my church. I've got a job that I mostly enjoyed, and God's using me where I'm at. And then I was like, well, hold on. If your dad thinks you should get to know this guy, maybe you should at least say, sure, we can give it a shot.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, sure, whatever, Dad.
And then once you saw him, you knew he was the man.
Well, I went and I found him on Facebook through mutual friends because Smith is such a common last name.
Oh, ain't that the truth?
So I was like, well, I mean, I can at least try and find him through a common friend. And I did. And I was like, okay, well, I suppose. I don't know. I already told Dad, yeah.
So that's a pretty good gig for your dad, though. I mean, like, really. Because from my perspective, he sure did a great job matching up two incredible people. And but dads know stuff like that. I have 3 daughters, you know, and I tell them all the time if they'll just let me decide for them, it'll be a lot easier.
It worked out for us.
Yeah, it worked out really good for you guys in more ways than one. Because I think your heart's being knit together.
Yeah.
And now you got this other life, you know, that's wow, what an amazing gift that he is. So how's he fit into the mission field thing?
Oh, he's along for the ride.
He doesn't care right now.
No, he's going where we're going. He doesn't have much of a choice.
Yeah, that's right. Well, so when y'all leave here, you're going to go back to Washington for a while?
Yep. Finish up the time at Moody.
Okay.
And then wrap up selling the house and figuring out a different vehicle and getting ready to drive all over the place.
Yeah. And so basically this first part of your first leg of your journey is going to be going through all those places to connect with the people that she knows that you don't know in cities that you've probably never spent a whole lot of time in, just visiting churches and raising support for what's next, which will probably be what? When you get all that money raised, which we're going to help with, by the way.
We're hoping to end up in Indonesia, where she grew up, or in Papua New Guinea. Those are the first 2 options where they need the most maintenance staff.
Right.
And be an aircraft mechanic and live wherever whatever place we've got, and be as much of a light and witness to people in the area that we can, whether it be expats, so people from other countries that moved there, or the nationals that are already there.
Right.
Doesn't matter. Everybody needs Christ.
Amen.
We all need to disciple each other.
That's right. So what's the time frame for your goal? What would be the perfect time frame for being in that country or one of those countries?
In our ideal world, of course, God can change the plan, which is just fine.
Yeah.
But start raising support with Wycliffe in November, December, January, something like that. And then continue that for a year or 2 whenever we get it. Whenever we hit the final goal is when we can go. But we do have more training that Wycliffe will provide. So some of the intercultural communication stuff, more training at the hangar, specific to the airplanes that I would be working on in whichever country I'll head towards. The next step in the application process is picking where we're going. So we're praying about that. We're talking with people that represent both countries and trying to figure out what is the best for us and what God would have us to do.
Right. So is most of this training, the final training, is that all in Washington State? Or is that
No, it will either be in Waxhaw, North Carolina, or maybe a little bit in Orlando, where Wycliffe is headquartered.
Yeah. Well, we'll take you in Waxhaw because we can see you more.
Yep.
But Orlando's weather's a little better. So, so what kind of weather's in Indonesia? It's just curiosity.
Hot and humid.
Is it kind of like Haiti? Like, have you been to Haiti?
I've never
before?
been to Haiti.
Similar.
It's
similar. Yeah.
He says it's similar.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hot and humid. Rainy season, dry season.
Yeah.
Amazing thunderstorms. Yeah.
And you're excited to go back, right?
I am. It's home.
Yeah. That's awesome, though.
Mm-hmm.
Well, isn't it amazing? I love to watch stories play out like this where God just picks two people from different parts of the world and basically connects their hearts together with one mission, one goal, one purpose. And I would definitely say your story is a God story. I knew Zach's was going to turn into one, and I was watching it unfold. But when you came along, first time I saw y'all together, and I saw him looking at you, I went, "He's done. It's over for him." He's this little shy kid that, incidentally, when we were in Haiti, the little girls in the orphanage fell in love with Zach. He was our only teenage boy. We had to actually get special permission sometimes to take him with us because we would have to sign on to be his guardians to get him across into other countries.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's 16, 17 years old, and all the little girls in Haiti that in the orphanage fell in love with Zachary. And one night we were in a hotel. You need to know this, okay? One night we were in a hotel, which was about a couple hundred yards from the orphanage, and it's not like a nice Marriott or anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's just and so these flock of girls, like 8 or 10 little Haitian girls from the orphanage that we all knew them because we loved them and had kind of helped raise them. They came to our hotel, and I was like, "Hey, girls, y'all come to see us?" And says, "No, we came to see Zach." And they had his notes, love letters that they had written to Zach. And we were like, "Zach." He was like up on the next floor. And Zach enough to know this. The last thing he wanted was girls to come looking for him. The second last thing he wanted was for us to have been witnesses to this, because he knew that we would never let this go.
Uh-huh.
And so, did you keep any of those love letters?
I think I still got them.
Well, you need to let Stephanie see them. Okay, you're married now. Okay. But anyway, I knew this guy was destined for greatness in the Lord, and when I met you, I knew the same. And I could not be more proud of the both of you. And little guy, what a beautiful, beautiful gift he is. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to do everything we can do from our church here in Lincolnton to help you guys meet your goals. And so thank y'all for taking some time to come in and talk to us today. Gives us a better vision of what your future is going to look like and how we can help. And so we're going to give you one more time just to tell everybody thanks, goodbye, help, whatever you need to do right now. Just I'm going to let both of you kind of close this thing out.
Yeah, well, thanks for having us, Mike, Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate the time that we had to talk. And honestly, it doesn't really matter where we go or what we do, as long as we can use the talents and abilities God's given us to serve him.
Yeah.
Growing up here, I was close to the guys at the church. I don't know if I'd be in the same spot without them. And especially spending a lot of time doing missions with Randy, seriously, shape where I'm going. So never underestimate the influence you have in people.
Amen.
Even if
that's
you don't
good.
realize it. It's invest in people.
Yeah.
Because that's how I ended up where I am. And hopefully I've invested in people as I've grown up, and I'll certainly aim to continue that.
Yeah. You have. I appreciate you. All right. You're up.
Yeah, we do send out a newsletter about quarterly. So if you'd like to receive it, feel free to send us an email. It's smith10519@gmail.com. And we have a blog that we're attempting to update. It's gotten a little behind with having a kid. And I couldn't tell you that website off the top of my head, but it's in our signature line on our email. And I can probably find it and send it to Ryan if anybody wants it.
We'll put that stuff out there for you.
Yep.
Because our goal is to help you reach your goal, because we believe that's God's goal. And for us to get to partner with you guys moving forward is nothing short of a gift for us, because you're part of us now. You're part of our family, and we love you, and we love Zachary, and we love little guy, and we appreciate.
Sleeping.
He's gone now.
Uh-huh.
He just needed dad to hold him and love
He
on him a little bit. So, but anyway, thank you guys for coming by. We can't wait to see everything that God's going to do in you and through you, and it's going to be amazing. And I'm gonna watch it unfold. And so, thanks for letting us do our part. But anyway, all right.
Thank you.
And guys, we appreciate you as usual joining in with us. It's a privilege and an honor that you would even take the time to watch anything we do. We just give God all the glory for it. Thank Ryan. He's behind the scenes over here doing all the real work. But God's been good to us, and for us to get a chance to give out some props, put out some new names for you guys maybe to check out some stuff they're involved in, and I'll give you another way to help work in the kingdom is a privilege for us. So thanks for stopping by. We will see you next time.